Analysis of Senate voting patterns, McConnell's no vote on Gabbard's confirmation in 2023 and its influence on legislative strategies in 2025. Introduction. The political landscape in the United States has been marked by increasing polarization, particularly in the Senate. One significant moment in this evolving narrative was Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell's no vote on Tulsi Gabbard's nomination as Director of National Intelligence (DNI) in 2023. This decision not only underscored the divisions within the Republican Party but also set the stage for subsequent legislative dynamics in 2025, particularly as former President Donald Trump sought to solidify his influence by pushing for his nominees amidst considerable GOP resistance. Gabbard's nomination in 2023. Tulsi Gabbard, a former Democratic Congresswoman from Hawaii, was nominated for the DNI position during a tumultuous period marked by bipartisan skepticism regarding her past statements on national security. Gabbard's criticisms of U.S. foreign policy. Her defense of whistleblower Edward Snowden and her perceived sympathies towards authoritarian regimes, particularly Syria and Russia, raised serious concerns among senators from both parties. McConnell's opposition was emblematic of the broader divisions within the GOP, as his vote reflected a strategic choice against a nominee whose qualifications were questioned by many. In the lead-up to the nomination, Gabbard faced intense scrutiny during her confirmation hearings, with both Democrats and several Republicans expressing concerns about her fitness for the role. McConnell's no vote was pivotal as it symbolized the reluctance of many GOP senators to align with a nominee who had previously been viewed with skepticism, particularly given her history of controversial statements. Confirmation hearings in early 2025. Fast forward to early 2025 and the political landscape had shifted significantly. By February 2025, the Senate conducted a test vote that advanced Gabbard's nomination with a 52-46 vote. This marked a dramatic turnaround from the earlier resistance she faced, illustrating how party dynamics had evolved under Trump's leadership. Key Republican senators, including Susan Collins and Todd, who had initially harbored doubts about Gabbard, shifted their stance after she addressed their concerns regarding her alignment with national intelligence priorities. The test vote was a clear indication of the collapsing Republican resistance to Gabbard's nomination. It also highlighted the pressure that Trump exerted on GOP senators to support his nominees regardless of prior reservations. The shift among Republican senators indicated a strategic pivot toward reinforcing party unity in the context of Trump's enduring influence within the party. Final confirmation expected. Following the successful test vote, Gabbard appeared poised for swift confirmation, which was anticipated to occur shortly thereafter. This development represented a notable change in trajectory for her nomination, as she garnered support from all Republican members of the Senate Intelligence Committee. The eventual confirmation vote was expected to take place soon, underscoring the remarkable reversal that had taken place since McConnell's initial opposition. Key points of analysis. 1. McConnell's influence. McConnell's no vote in 2023 was significant as it reflected his skepticism about Gabbard's capabilities to lead the intelligence community. This stance not only highlighted the partisan conflicts surrounding her nomination but also illustrated the challenges Trump faced in pushing through his nominees amidst divisions within the GOP. 2. Party dynamics. The subsequent support for Gabbard in 2025 showcased a significant shift within the Republican Party, largely driven by Trump's insistence on backing his nominees. This capitulation indicated a willingness among GOP members to overlook previous concerns, suggesting a strategic shift in response to Trump's leadership and the need for party cohesion. 3. Democratic opposition. Democrats, particularly Senator Mark Warner, continued to voice strong opposition to Gabbard's qualifications. Warner emphasized the necessity for experienced leadership in the intelligence sector, framing the confirmation as a matter of national security. This ongoing Democratic resistance illuminated the persistent partisan divides regarding national security and intelligence oversight. 4. Comparative analysis. Various media outlets provided differing perspectives on the implications of McConnell's no vote and the GOP's eventual shift toward supporting Gabbard. Axios focused on the immediate consequences of the vote, while the New York Times delved deeper into the confirmation process, emphasizing the contentious nature of the hearings and the bipartisan concerns that initially surrounded her nomination. Conclusion. In summary, McConnell's no vote on Gabbard in 2023 served as a critical touchpoint in Senate voting patterns, highlighting the tensions within the Republican Party. The subsequent shift in 2025 leading to her confirmation illustrated the evolving dynamics of party loyalty under Trump's influence and the complexities of navigating bipartisan concerns within the legislative process. This case underscores the intricate interplay between individual votes and broader legislative strategies, setting a precedent for future confirmations in an increasingly polarized political environment. As the political landscape continues to evolve, the lessons learned from this episode will likely influence future nominations and the strategies employed by both parties in the Senate, particularly as they grapple with the challenges of maintaining party unity amidst internal divisions and external pressures. In analyzing the Senate voting patterns surrounding Mitch McConnell's no vote on Tulsi Gabbard's confirmation as Director of National Intelligence (DNI) in 2023, we can identify several counterintuitive aspects that reveal deeper dynamics within the Republican Party and legislative strategies in the years that followed. 1. Initial resistance versus subsequent support. Initially, McConnell's opposition to Gabbard was representative of a broader skepticism among Republicans regarding her qualifications. This resistance was not merely a product of partisan politics but stemmed from genuine concerns over her past statements and actions related to national security. However, in 2025, key Republican senators who had previously expressed doubts, such as Susan Collins and Todd, shifted their stance and supported her confirmation after she addressed their concerns. This shift illustrates how quickly party dynamics can change in response to leadership pressure, especially under Trump's influence. The counterintuitive element here is that despite a solidified initial opposition based on serious reservations, the party ultimately unified around Gabbard, showcasing how political expediency can override earlier dissent. 2. McConnell's strategic positioning. McConnell's no vote could have been perceived as a steadfast stance against a nominee deemed unfit by many in his party. However, his vote may have also served as a strategic positioning to maintain his influence within the party and to navigate the complex landscape of GOP factions. By initially opposing Gabbard, he could appeal to a segment of the party that was wary of Trump's more controversial nominees. However, the later capitulation of the party to support Gabbard suggests that McConnell may have miscalculated the strength of Trump's grip on the party. This counterintuitive outcome demonstrates how leadership dynamics can shift, revealing that initial opposition may not be as robust as it appears when faced with the reality of party loyalty and pressure from the executive branch. 3. Democratic opposition and its impact. Democrats, led by figures such as Senator Mark Warner, voiced strong objections to Gabbard's confirmation, framing their arguments around the need for experienced leadership and intelligence. Despite their efforts to rally bipartisan opposition, the eventual Republican support for Gabbard underscores how partisan lines can shift dramatically, sometimes in defiance of opposing arguments. The counterintuitive fact here is that while Democrats aim to create a unified front against Gabbard, their opposition inadvertently set the stage for a more consolidated GOP effort to confirm her, reflecting a paradox where opposition can galvanize support rather than diminish it. 4. The role of Trump's influence. Trump's insistence on backing his nominees played a pivotal role in reshaping Senate dynamics. The expectation that Republican senators would conform to Trump's wishes even when they had serious reservations signals a shift toward a more centralized party structure under his leadership. The counterintuitive insight is that individual senators who may have previously expressed concerns about Gabbard's qualifications ultimately prioritized party loyalty and alignment with Trump's agenda over their initial apprehensions. This not only reflects a change in personal conviction but also indicates a broader trend of subservience to party leadership in the face of external pressures. 5. Legislative strategies moving forward. The case of Gabbard's confirmation process sets a precedent for future confirmations and legislative strategies within an increasingly polarized political landscape. The rapid turnaround from skepticism to support among Republicans suggests that future nominees may face similar dynamics where initial resistance can quickly give way to party unity, particularly under pressure from the party's leadership. The counterintuitive element here is that the political process, often viewed as slow and deliberative, can become highly malleable and responsive to shifts in party dynamics and leadership pressure, leading to unexpected outcomes in confirmation processes. In summary, the analysis of McConnell's no vote on Gabbard's confirmation and the subsequent shift in 2025 reveals several counterintuitive dynamics within the Republican Party, the influence of Trump, and the nature of legislative strategies in a polarized environment. This case highlights how initial resistance can transform into support when faced with party pressures, the complexities of leadership influence, and the unpredictable nature of bipartisan opposition in the Senate. Important content in the report: McConnell's no vote and its significance. 1. Initial stance of Mitch McConnell. McConnell's decision to vote against Gabbard's confirmation was significant not only for its immediate impact on the nomination process but also for what it revealed about intra-party tensions. His no vote indicated a strategic choice to maintain traditional Republican stances on national security and intelligence, which conflicted with Gabbard's past positions. This decision underscored the divisions within the GOP regarding foreign policy and national security, particularly in an era marked by populist influences and shifting party ideologies. 2. Partisan dynamics. The report highlights the broader partisan tensions in the Senate, with Democrats and some Republicans expressing skepticism about Gabbard's qualifications. While many may focus on the eventual confirmation of Gabbard, the initial bipartisan concerns are crucial as they illustrate the complexities of navigating party loyalty and the push and pull of differing ideological perspectives. McConnell's no vote serves as a reminder of how personal beliefs and party loyalty can clash within a legislative body. 3. Shift in Republican support. The transformation of Republican senators' views from skepticism to support for Gabbard by early 2025 is noteworthy. This shift is indicative of the influence of Donald Trump on the party's legislative strategies. It reflects a trend where the party is increasingly willing to set aside previous reservations in favor of party unity and alignment with Trump's agenda. The willingness to overlook past concerns about Gabbard's positions signals a significant shift in how the Republican Party approaches nominations and confirms candidates who might not align perfectly with traditional conservative values. For pressure from Trump, the report emphasizes Trump's role in pressuring GOP senators to support his nominees, including Gabbard. This dynamic is significant because it showcases how Trump's leadership style has altered the decision-making processes within the Senate. It raises questions about the extent to which individual legislators are willing to compromise their beliefs for party cohesion and the implications for future nominations. This pressure illustrates the ongoing transformation of the Republican Party's identity under Trump's influence, moving from a traditional conservative base to one that is more populist and aligned with his personal brand. 5. Gabbard's military and legislative background. Gabbard's military experience and her tenure in Congress are highlighted as factors that ultimately swayed key Republican senators to support her nomination. This aspect is significant because it reflects a broader trend in the evaluation of nominees based on their professional backgrounds and perceived alignment with national priorities. It indicates a potential shift in how qualifications for roles such as the Director of National Intelligence are assessed, moving towards a model where political alignment and experience can overshadow past controversies. 6. Democratic opposition. The ongoing opposition from Democrats, particularly the strong stance taken by Senator Mark Warner, underscores the persistent partisan divides regarding national security. The Democratic resistance is not just a reaction to Gabbard but also reflects broader concerns about the direction of intelligence oversight and national security policy. This partisan conflict is significant as it signifies the challenges ahead for any administration attempting to navigate a deeply divided Congress, particularly on issues of national importance. 7. Comparative analysis of reporting. The different focuses of Axios and the New York Times on McConnell's vote and the eventual shift in support for Gabbard are noteworthy. While Axios emphasizes the immediate implications of McConnell's no vote, the New York Times delves into the complexities of the confirmation process. This divergence in reporting showcases how media narratives can shape public perception of political events, potentially leading to different interpretations of the same situation. 8. Implications for future nominations. Finally, the entire episode serves as a case study for future nominations in an increasingly polarized political landscape. The interplay between individual votes, party loyalty, and broader legislative strategies will likely influence how confirmations are approached moving forward. The willingness of GOP senators to shift their positions in the face of party pressure may set a precedent for how future nominees are treated, with implications for both partisan dynamics and the functioning of the Senate. In summary, the details surrounding McConnell's no vote on Gabbard's confirmation and the subsequent shifts in Senate dynamics encapsulate broader themes of party loyalty, ideological conflict, and the evolving nature of political negotiations. These elements are significant not only for understanding the specific case of Gabbard but also for analyzing the future trajectory of the Senate and the Republican Party as a whole. 1. McConnell's strategic opposition and its implications. Mitch McConnell's no vote on Tulsi Gabbard's confirmation in 2023 was not merely a personal stance, it signified a broader strategy within the Republican Party amid growing partisan tensions. This decision reflected the party's internal divisions regarding Trump's agenda and the qualifications of Gabbard, a former Democrat with controversial views. Analyzing McConnell's influence provides insights into how party leadership can shape legislative outcomes and the importance of individual votes in a polarized environment. 2. Shifts in Republican Party dynamics. The eventual support for Gabbard in 2025, especially from previously skeptical Republican senators like Susan Collins and Todd Young, highlights a significant shift within the party's dynamics. This change, driven by Trump's insistence on backing his nominees, suggests a strategic pivot towards party unity that prioritizes loyalty over prior reservations. Examining this evolution illustrates how external pressures can influence internal party cohesion and decision-making processes. 3. Partisan tensions and legislative strategy. The ongoing opposition from Democrats, particularly figures like Senator Mark Warner, underscores the persistent partisan divides that characterize contemporary legislative strategies. Their strong objections to Gabbard's qualifications reveal a broader concern regarding leadership in national security and intelligence oversight. This dynamic is crucial for understanding how partisan tensions can shape not only individual nominations but also broader legislative agendas and priorities in an increasingly polarized political landscape. 4. Comparative media analysis. The differing narratives presented by Axios and the New York Times regarding Gabbard's confirmation process provide valuable insights into the role of media in shaping public perception of political events. Axios focused on the immediate implications of McConnell's vote and the GOP's eventual shift, while the New York Times delved into the intricacies of the confirmation hearings and bipartisan concerns. Analyzing these contrasting perspectives highlights the importance of media framing in influencing public discourse and understanding the complexities of political processes. 1. The confirmation of John Roberts. 2005. John Roberts was nominated by President George W. Bush to be Chief Justice of the United States in 2005. His confirmation hearings were marked by intense scrutiny and partisan divisions. Despite concerns from some Democrats regarding his judicial philosophy and past rulings, the Senate ultimately confirmed him with a vote of 78 to 22. Roberts' confirmation represented a significant moment in the Supreme Court's history as he was positioned to influence major legal decisions for years to come, similar to Gabbard's potential impact on the intelligence community. 2. The nomination of Sonia Sotomayor. 2009. Sonia Sotomayor was nominated by President Barack Obama to the Supreme Court in 2009. Her confirmation hearings were contentious, with some Republican senators raising concerns about her judicial temperament and past comments regarding race and gender. Ultimately, she was confirmed with a vote of 68 to 31. Sotomayor's nomination and confirmation process highlighted the partisan divides in the Senate, paralleling the dynamics seen with Gabbard's nomination, where initial skepticism gave way to eventual support. 3. The battle over Brett Kavanaugh. 2018. The nomination of Brett Kavanaugh to the Supreme Court by President Donald Trump in 2018 led to one of the most contentious confirmation battles in recent history. Kavanaugh faced numerous allegations of sexual misconduct which were vehemently contested by both parties. Despite the intense opposition and protests, he was confirmed by a narrow margin of 50 to 48. This case is emblematic of how partisan politics can influence confirmation processes, reflecting the complexities and tensions that were also observed during Gabbard's confirmation hearings. Future outlook. Predictions for legislative strategies post-Gabbard confirmation. The confirmation of Tulsi Gabbard as the Director of National Intelligence (DNI) in 2025 will have significant implications for Senate voting patterns and legislative strategies moving forward. The events surrounding her nomination, particularly Mitch McConnell's initial opposition, reflect deeper trends within the Republican Party and the broader political landscape in the United States. Here are several predictions regarding how these dynamics may evolve through 2025 and beyond. 1. Increased party cohesion under Trump's influence. Gabbard's eventual confirmation, despite initial resistance, is indicative of a trend where Republican senators may increasingly align with Trump's agenda. This suggests a consolidation of party loyalty that could lead to less dissent among GOP senators on contentious nominees. Moving forward, we may see more swift confirmations of nominees aligned with Trump's vision as party leaders prioritize unity over individual reservations. 2. Shifts in Senate voting patterns. The bipartisan concerns raised during Gabbard's confirmation hearings highlight ongoing divisions not only within the Republican Party but also between the two parties. As the political climate becomes more polarized, votes may increasingly reflect party lines, with fewer senators willing to cross the aisle on controversial issues. This could lead to a more adversarial legislative environment where bipartisan cooperation becomes an exception rather than the norm. 3. Evolving Senate committees dynamics. The support that Gabbard garnered from key Republican senators suggests a potential shift in the dynamics of Senate committees, particularly the Intelligence Committee. With Gabbard's military background and her commitment to intelligence reform resonating with GOP priorities, we might expect similar nominees in the future who can bridge the gap between traditional Republican stances and the more populist elements of Trump's agenda. 4. Focus on national security and intelligence oversight. Gabbard's confirmation could lead to an intensified focus on national security issues within the Senate, particularly as the intelligence community faces evolving global threats. Legislative efforts may prioritize reforms aimed at reducing perceived bureaucratic overreach and enhancing the core missions of intelligence agencies. This might manifest in proposals for budget cuts or changes in operational focus that align with the GOP's larger narrative of government efficiency. 5. Impact on future nominations. The trajectory of Gabbard's confirmation process may set a precedent for future nominations that are similarly controversial. Senators might feel empowered to support nominees they would have previously opposed, especially if they can frame their support as aligned with party loyalty or necessary for advancing legislative goals. This trend could lead to more unconventional nominees being pushed through as the threshold for opposition shifts. 6. Democratic strategies in response. In response to the evolving dynamics, Democrats may adopt more aggressive strategies to oppose future nominations from the Trump administration or GOP-aligned candidates. This could involve coordinated efforts to highlight potential conflicts of interest or ethical concerns surrounding nominees, aimed at rallying public support and pressuring Republican senators to reconsider their positions. The Democratic Party may also seek to emphasize the importance of experience and integrity in intelligence leadership to counteract the GOP's shifting standards. 7. Legislative priorities leading into the 2026 elections. As the 2026 midterm elections approach, the ramifications of Gabbard's confirmation will likely influence legislative agendas. The Republican Party may feel emboldened to pursue a more aggressive legislative agenda that aligns with Trump's priorities, aiming to consolidate their base. Conversely, Democrats may focus on showcasing the risks associated with the GOP's choices, framing the narrative around accountability and responsible governance. 8. Long-term partisan realignment. The outcome of Gabbard's nomination and the subsequent dynamics within the Senate might contribute to a longer-term realignment in American politics. If the GOP continues to prioritize loyalty to Trump over traditional conservative principles, we could see a fracturing of the party as moderates and traditionalists grapple with the direction of their party. This realignment could influence electoral strategies and candidate selection in the 2028 elections. In summary, the confirmation of Tulsi Gabbard as DNI marks a pivotal moment in Senate voting patterns and legislative strategies. As the GOP navigates the complexities of loyalty to Trump alongside traditional governance, the implications for future nominations, legislative priorities, and partisan dynamics will be profound. The developments in 2025 will likely shape the political landscape as both parties prepare for the challenges of the upcoming election cycle and beyond.